All right, how's it going? So I was asked to show some like what cards to focus on, kind of like decks for climbing the ladder. This was me last season. It's like top 50. I don't play enough to climb higher. I regularly beat pretty much everyone on the ladder I can beat. There's a few that I can't, mostly just because of the cards that they have. I don't necessarily have everything maxed. This is the current deck I'm using. I might do another video. I have a tier list just on my computer that I've made for other people. But if we break it down in like who should you have, like the cards that focus for tanks, Jotun is hands down the best tank in the game. Whenever you hit like the 9, 11, 13, and 15, you always roll epics. Don't it doesn't matter. Like if you get legendary, like that's fine, and you can just take the first thing you have. It takes a lot of gold to roll for all these, and the first thing you should be doing is like maxing all of these cards, like the grays, blues, purples. They will max your battle power. This right here, this 1,000. So this multiplies all stats of your units by 1,000%. So maxing that out is usually one of the biggest multipliers, and it's very cheap to like max all these little cards as you get levels for them. And then the biggest multipliers on these cards are those glyphs. So that 9, 13, 11, and 15. Like if you have a unit that's level 10, it's basically level 9. Like there's no real difference. This is the big multiplier on their stats. These epic cards, like that they get, or epic glyphs, like energy generation. Um, this is for the bard here, and when he's summoned, he gets battle bonuses. These are what I was saying before with supports right now. So like the Hungen right here has a mana. I get one extra mana every single round for the rest of the game. Some of the top players, they spend a lot of gold and they have like supports that are level 15, and they have 4 mana glyphs, and they'll just get 4 mana every turn, and I can't beat that. I would have to spend money to max a support. I don't have a max support, and then spend a ton of gold re-rolling every single glyph to mana. You'll see Hungen and Bard, or Hungen Q Hamster, or Hungen who was the other one? Our archivist, this guy, and they'll just roll like all mana, maybe a couple of battle bonuses thrown in there. Those guys, this guy's pretty much auto win. So the top cards partially are based on like what you can get. If you're spending money buying like these cards, like I've never done that. This is like a crazy amount of money for one card. I would say a deal for this company is probably around $7 for a legendary if you're gonna spend money. The only thing I really buy are these weekly passes, and I always finish the pass. They give you a lot of the epic heroes. Most people that I see, these heroes are very low level, and the fact that I have them kind of high level, this is taken like probably like a few months to close to a year of buying the weekly event passes, but it's a lot cheaper than like going on here and buying $15 for one level. But on these weekly events, you get you can buy the cards with the tokens. So I'm pretty much max Jotun and Undertaker, Order Knight. All these maxes are from these weekly events. So first off, for tanks, there's only two tanks. There's again Jotun. He gives mana, and his ult taunts the enemy and stops them from ulting. So he's just by far the best. The only other one I would ever consider using is Fisherman. He is the tankiest tank. He will tank the most damage and he heals himself more than Jotun does. I've only got him to 9. Like whenever a new card comes out, they usually let you get level 9 without spending any money, really. And then they don't offer them a chance. You don't have a chance to get them from drawing randomly for a few months. So a lot of the newer cards I don't ever level. I just get them to 9. That being said, if you spend money on this game, buying the new card, they tend to be strong. So the strong one of the strongest cards in the game is the Sand Elemental. A lot of the like top players will just have this card max. This card is pretty strong. He has like an innate chance to dodge, 25% chance to dodge attacks. He just constantly damages even when he dies. He groups them all up in the center, and they'll pair like Elemental with his. He groups everything. They'll pair it with like Jotun or Order Knight, and then just like your entire team gets hit by 2 abilities, and it's quite strong. Um, that being said, like the easiest way to make yourself better is again the weekly events, energetic mirror match, card foretelling. Their shops last a few months where they just keep the same cards, and so they let you consistently buy them, and so you can get them high ranked. Um, Early game, like when you say you have all level 9 cards, Undertaker, Jotun at all ranks will be the best tank in the game. Just based off mana alone, it doesn't even matter. If you just get mana every turn, you're winning. Undertaker can act as a tank. He's very strong. Puts out a ton of CC. Constantly charges. When he dies, he comes back to life and CCs again. Um, Cowboy is a good unit at 15. Before 15, he's not that great. 15 is when you get these legendary glyphs, which are they kind of upgrade everybody's ult. Cowboy essentially lets his ult, that lasso that he throws, it just hits everybody along the path. It really ups his damage. Raw is a pretty solid character. Um, you'll see a lot of people with him. His 15 glyph is pretty good. It just buffs your highest raw. So having more than one usually isn't very beneficial. But his summons scarabs that tank a lot of damage and constantly draw hits away from your characters. So in that sense, he's like the old Hood. Hood is a terrible unit, by the way. A lot of people have this guy, but he's quite bad. He's not good at any level. He might be good in the very early game when you can pair it with something like this. But once you kind of get out of like versing the bots and you have like full deck of legendaries, you'll see people with Hood, but they stay low rank. They'll never climb. So that's our tanks, basically Jotun and Fisherman. Um, for our, can I pair this by types? I can. Okay, so yeah, our tanks here just Jotun, Fisherman. I gotta stop swiping the page. um, for the damage characters, I'll just say the best ones at 15. Little Dragon is one of the top DPS at 15. I haven't got many cards, but he's not really good until you get to 15. When you get him 15, he's one of the top damage. As well as Tinker right now is currently the best damage. That's why you see me using her, even though I have other max cards. I have a Tinker and Hungen level 11. Hungen is extremely broken. They just reworked him. He basically like it's like 200k damage. It's not gonna quite tell me. This is like base level 130. When you usually super merge him, and he's like 20 to 30s, he's giving people like 200k damage. And shielding 20% of the health. He casts that right at the start. So you pair that with Tinker. and Tinker just shoots like crazy, and she just like machine guns people with like crazy high damage, and will end tons of people who have max cards. So this should be in your deck regardless. Tinker Hungen, at least until they get nerfed, they are #1 picks with Jotun. So it leaves 2 empty spots, and honestly, just fill it with your best card. Smasher is not bad. He offers crowd control, CC. That's anything that like stuns or disrupts people. He's good early. I used to use him a lot. Goblin's good if you have him. Jester's good. Storm Owl's good. Footballer's good. And Sand Elemental. So Magma is not good on ladder. Piggle's awful. Candle's bad. Hood's bad. Banshee does do damage at higher levels. If you have a lot of cards, go for it. Same thing with Little Dragon. You can pull both of those from random pulls. Princess, I'm not sure if she's in random. I think she must be if I'm level 10. She's good at 15. Under 15, not so much. So if you're spending money, the people who are only good at 15, I guess you could spend for those. If you're not doing it, I wouldn't invest in them just because they're not giving you a whole lot until they get max. Berserker, he's like kind of mid-tier, same as like Princess and stuff, same as Pumpkin. Assassins are just not that good. The only 2 that I would, or only 3, would be Chrono, Cowboy, and Chef. Chrono will probably be the most bang for your buck. If you're lower level, he's still putting out decent CC. He teleports and stuns in an area, and then does a nice little shot of damage. At 15, Chrono Paul, Cowboy, and Chef they're all 3 of them are good. Against the top players, Assassins usually fail. So if someone runs like a level 15 Chef, Chrono Paul, or Cowboy against me, like my level 11 Hunkin's going to shield them, and then the Assassin's going to die really quick. They used to kill 1 person and then die, maybe kill 2. It's not really the case anymore. They just don't put out enough damage before they die, and they put themselves in very bad positions by teleporting straight into the enemy team. Supports, the only ones are Q Hamster, Hungen, Archivist, and Bard. Bard and Hungen got reworked. I haven't seen a whole lot of Bards. He does seem good in like Energetic or Mirror Match when I play him. Angel, Scarecrow, terrible units. Honestly, I wouldn't even go Archivist unless you get unless you just have a bunch of cards and you get either the mana glyphs. That's what makes supports broken right now, is just having the mana and battle bonus glyphs. For disruptors, there's only really Undertaker. And he's a great unit to have at all levels. When you hit max, he's actually a little bit weaker just because he tends to die very quick before he ever charges. So I don't use him that much unless he's on the weekly bonus, the weekly faction. So I mean that's mostly it. I would mostly focus on these 2 supports, Q Hamster, Hungen, Undertaker for disruptors. Cowboy, Chrono, or Chef if you have them high level. Sand Elemental, Tinker, Goblin Commander, Jester, Ra, Order Knight, Storm Owl, Smasher, and Jotun. So again, Tinker, Hungen, Jotun, and then just fill in the other 2 with whatever you got. I mean, this week's faction's Wild Tribe. From what I just said, none of those units that I said was good are kind of on here besides Tinker. My Little Dragon is level 10. My Prince is level 10. I'm not going to use them. I'm not using a level 10 Chef. None of these are worth it for me. Based on most of my, like, I have good cards that are already max. This weekly bonus, the 30%, like, it is worth doing this. If all your cards are level 9, then you should just be using the weekly faction and choosing the best out of there. So just imagine all my cards are level 11. I'll just throw in this guy instead of Raw, and probably Berserker instead of Order Knight. You know, that will give me an extra 60% damage. That damage is not worth it over 2 max cards for just for me personally. Priestess is probably not very good early. A lot of her benefits are later levels. If you have like all level like 1 to 10, it's probably Frost is the one. I used to use Frost a lot, mostly, honestly. From level 1, he gives you extra mana, so you just use your ability every time you have 2 or less Frost squares, and you're going to get extra mana. And again, getting mana is the simplest and easiest way to win a game. So until you kind of like level them up, like I was saying, I think level 30 for Spicy. Yeah, around there. Like once you hit level 30, you get this damage increase on the peppers. She's pretty useful, and I've used her like pretty much all the time now. In the beginning, the deer I used to use a lot. They kind of nerfed these. So around level 10, I guess, the Harpy gives attack speed to your whole units. It shoots the tornadoes across the map. All the units that get hit by the tornado gain attack speed. This will be the unit to use. Once you kind of get them to like, I don't know, like 30, 60, you're unlocking those talents, the deer will be better. Terra is god awful. Don't ever use this unit, ever. I don't care what level she is. You use these two, use the 2 gray heroes until you get any epic hero, and then you use the epic heroes. As you can see, I still haven't unlocked this. This is impossible to like level free to play. I even if you unlock them, you have to spend money. I regularly beat Topuses that are like at least level 30, so you can spend a lot of money and hit 60 and 80, and you'll probably beat a lot of people if you also have max cards, but it's a lot of money for that, and that's just kind of defeats the purpose of playing a game, in my opinion. Like dragging all over the screen, sorry, and teleporting all around. Yeah, Frost is the best of the 3 at low levels. I think Spicy becomes the best, like post 30, and then Frost I think becomes the best at level 80. Priestess is the worst of the 3, in my opinion. I regularly beat level 80 Priestess, no problem. 80 Frost, I have a hard time with. I still beat them sometimes, but Frost has just freezing the entire enemy board, and they're unable to move. It made me stop using Undertaker because he wouldn't be able to charge. He'd just be frozen, then he would die. And they reworked him. He used to die and then charge across the map. And now he just dies and slams down right where he was at. So for me, in max level games, he's essentially worthless because he doesn't ever stun anybody. That's why I started leveling Smasher. I've seen some people use him to success, where he gets a charge off at the start and still stuns people. I'm still trying to find ways to deal with an 80 Frost. It's quite a hard unit to beat. I'll just show my energetic decks one more time. You just want to make sure you have a few strong units. I have essentially 4 strong units in this deck. This deck has pretty much just Hungen and I feel like Smasher's a little bit above average in football. It was a little bit above average, and then just two kind of damage dealers that are also a little bit beefy. Again, this is my weakest deck probably. We have Fisher in here. All of these units are strong. And then all of these units are strong. So 3 of my 4 decks have all strong units, and then this one is the kind of leftover one. If you're going to use my decks and you're like a little worried or you don't win very often, I would just use like 1 ticket on this. I usually use as many tickets as I can because I pretty much win every game. This is the only deck that I might use like 1 ticket on just because I'm not sure. It's been doing good so far. I used to have like Cleaner on here. It was not working out very well. He did not tank anything and he doesn't do any damage. So I decided to just try like all beefy frontliners and no tank. Been working out okay so far. Is there anything else I can go over? I mean, when you're playing and you're like leveling these cards, and as soon as you hit one of those thresholds, you're just rolling for an epic glyph, and then you can stop spending gold. So I mean, that's pretty much it. And just you're breaking rocks as you level. Use the weekly buff if most of your cards are like the same level. This will definitely like bridge the gap if someone's like 200% more battle power than you, if they have higher card levels, especially those weekly bonuses that are the mana. If it's like mana generation, like when you summon a unit, it's a 50% chance to get some mana. You should probably be using all 5 units with that. That is an extremely strong buff, and people will tend to use higher level cards instead of using those mana. But like, if you have 3 super merges over the enemy, you're gonna win. I love it when it's that's my favorite weekly buff. And then you just take Jotun with it. You just collecting mana left and right. Just put your like the ones that you want, like the best cards up here, and just roll any extras or roll any bad cards. Like, I'm never gonna level Hood. Every time I get any of these, I throw Hood up there and I re-roll it. This one, you always want to make sure you buy the extra crystals. Crystals are completely worthless. Always do these and try to do your best on them. I mean, most of them just winning. The other one of them is the most super merges. Doing these every day will give you a lot of gold to kind of like help boost up your battle power and upgrade all your units. Other than that, I mean, you always want to finish the season pass. You can always buy this if you are not max battle power. This pass gives you a lot of cards, so you can level up those cards quickly. I know that there is it on here? Oh, this premium, if you find yourself losing these weekly events, premium gives you increased ticket rate, so you don't have to buy tickets. Other than that, premium doesn't really do a whole lot. It doesn't even get rid of all the ads. There's still plenty of ads even if you have premium. It gives you a little bit more gold. It buffs how quickly you finish this pass, but that doesn't, like, you'll finish this pass regardless. If you just do the quests every day, you'll finish this pass no problem. I would recommend buying this pass and these passes. Without buying anything, it is quite hard to get anywhere in this game. I mean, you can still do it. You'll just probably be sitting level 9 most of the time, which is fine. Leveling these heroes, though, is very helpful from doing these passes. You always get, like, usually like a level a pass, I feel. And then just over time, you'll get a couple levels here and there. Alright, that's all I can think of, really. Maybe we'll do another one if there's any more questions. But catch y'all later.